Ladies and gentlemen, wealth is not just numbers in a bank account. It is a discipline of the mind, a code of conduct, a way of living that attracts opportunity like a magnet draws iron. The truth is simple. Before you can hold wealth in your hands, you must first hold it in your thoughts. If you cannot command your own mind, you will never command your fortune. Every empire, every business, every legacy of wealth that has ever existed began with a thought, sharpened by discipline, tested in hardship, and reinforced by relentless action. Wealth does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who prepare their minds to seize it. In this speech, I will show you how to train your mind like a warrior trains for battle, so that you not only chase wealth but attract it, build it, and sustain it. You will hear why discipline outweighs luck, why setbacks are the true test of fortune, and why your mind is the most valuable asset you will ever own. Stay with me until the end, because what you take from this will not only change how you think, but it may very well change the course of your life. Discipline is the cornerstone of every great achievement in life, and wealth is no exception. If you cannot discipline your thoughts, your actions, and your habits, then no amount of ambition, talent, or luck will secure lasting success. Discipline is not glamorous, it is not easy, and it is not something that happens overnight. It is forged through repetition, through sacrifice, and through a deep commitment to a greater purpose. It is the quiet voice that tells you to rise early when the rest of the world is asleep. It is the steady hand that guides you to save when others spend recklessly. It is the relentless drive that keeps you working when comfort tempts you to stop. Wealth, in its truest form, is built upon that kind of structure. Without discipline, it is like building a castle on sand. It may look impressive for a moment, but eventually it collapses. Think of the people who have risen to unimaginable wealth. They did not stumble into fortune by accident. Behind their success are years of discipline. Discipline to study when others wasted time. Discipline to take risks when others were paralyzed by fear. And discipline to keep moving forward when failure seemed unbearable. Money flows to those who have mastered themselves, for self-mastery is the foundation of financial mastery. It is not the market, the economy, or luck that creates lasting wealth. It is the mind that is trained, ordered, and disciplined enough to command those forces and bend them toward its purpose. Discipline means doing the work when you don't feel like it. It means choosing long-term reward over short-term gratification. It means ignoring distractions and staying committed to the plan, even when the results are slow. The wealthy mind does not fall victim to impulse. It does not chase every shiny object. It does not surrender to laziness or comfort. Instead, it moves with intention, with precision, and with clarity. Every decision is measured, every habit purposeful, every action aligned with the ultimate goal. This is how wealth is built, not in sudden bursts of luck or chance, but in the disciplined rhythm of daily choices. The greatest danger to wealth is not lack of opportunity, it is lack of discipline. Opportunities will come and go, but only those with the discipline to recognize and seize them will ever transform them into fortune. Consider the one who earns a great deal but spends recklessly. Despite the income, they remain poor because they lack the discipline to preserve and grow what they have. Now consider the one who earns little but saves consistently, invests wisely, and builds habits of financial strength. Over time, the discipline of the second person will eclipse the recklessness of the first. Discipline multiplies wealth in a way that no windfall ever can. Training your mind for discipline requires more than simply forcing yourself to act. It is about creating systems, routines, and standards that eliminate the need for constant decision-making. When you wake up early every day, it is no longer a question of whether you should. It becomes your natural rhythm. When you save a portion of your income consistently, it becomes second nature rather than a struggle. Discipline transforms difficult choices into automatic responses. It removes the weight of hesitation and doubt, allowing you to act with speed and certainty. And in the world of wealth, speed and certainty make all the difference. There will always be temptations, distractions that promise quick results, illusions of overnight success, or voices that tell you to slow down and relax. But discipline is the shield that guards you against those temptations. It reminds you that nothing lasting is built in haste, that no true wealth comes without sacrifice, and that every step of discipline brings you closer to freedom. Discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. It frees you from chaos, from financial insecurity, from the endless cycle of chasing and losing. Through discipline, you earn the power to command your destiny rather than be commanded by circumstance. The disciplined mind is unshaken by failure, because it knows failure is not the end. It is simply another lesson, another chance to refine the plan. Wealth is not a straight line, it is a battlefield filled with setbacks, challenges, and obstacles. But the disciplined soldier does not retreat at the first sign of resistance. He tightens his grip, strengthens his resolve, and marches forward. Wealth belongs to those who endure, to those who can maintain their discipline when others have surrendered. It is easy to be disciplined when things are going well. It is when life tests you, when the business collapses, when the investments fail, when the road ahead looks impossible, that true discipline reveals itself. Those who can hold their line in those moments, who can continue to save, to invest, to work, and to grow despite the storm, are the ones who eventually find themselves standing at the gates of abundance. Discipline is not about controlling the outside world, it is about mastering the inner one, and when you master the inner, the outer world inevitably follows. Every great fortune is built slowly, brick by brick, habit by habit. Behind the skyscrapers of wealth are decades of discipline, unseen and uncelebrated. The late nights of study, the early mornings of work, the sacrifices of pleasure, all of it hidden, all of it unrecognized by the world. But discipline does not seek applause. It does not need validation. It simply does its work, silently, patiently, until the results are undeniable. The truth is, discipline will often feel uncomfortable. It will force you to go against the current, to deny yourself things that others indulge in, to delay rewards that seem within your reach. But that discomfort is the very price of freedom. While others live enslaved to their impulses, the disciplined mind commands its future. It pays the price today to enjoy the wealth of tomorrow. It sacrifices fleeting pleasures for lasting prosperity. And when the years pass, the disciplined one looks back not with regret, but with gratitude for every sacrifice, every moment of restraint. Every act of discipline has built a life of abundance. If you truly desire unlimited wealth, you must first desire unlimited discipline. Train your mind to be stronger than your emotions, your vision to be clearer than your doubts, and your actions to be more powerful than your fears. Wealth does not respond to wishful thinking, it responds to disciplined execution. And when your discipline becomes unbreakable, so too will your fortune. Vision beyond the ordinary is the seed from which unlimited wealth grows. Every empire, every innovation, every fortune began as a thought that no one else dared to see. Wealth does not come to those who merely observe the world as it is. It comes to those who imagine the world as it could be. The ordinary mind accepts limitations, but the extraordinary mind dares to push past them, to see opportunities hidden in plain sight, and to believe in possibilities long before they take shape. If discipline builds the structure of wealth, vision provides the blueprint. Without vision, discipline has no direction. Without vision, even the hardest work can lead to emptiness. True wealth belongs to those who train their minds to see farther, wider, and deeper than others. Vision is not fantasy. It is not wishful thinking. Vision is clarity in the midst of noise, direction in the face of distraction, and certainty in a world of doubt. It is the power to hold in your mind an image of abundance, so strong, so vivid, that it guides your every step until it becomes reality. Those who lack vision are carried away by circumstances, but those with vision bend circumstances to their will. Vision is not about seeing what is in front of you, it is about seeing what is possible. The greatest wealth creators in history had vision that stretched beyond their time. They saw opportunities where others saw obstacles. They looked at barren land and saw cities. They looked at raw materials and saw industries. They looked at simple problems and saw solutions that would change the world. This is not luck. This is the trained ability to see beyond the ordinary. And just like discipline, vision is not a gift granted to a chosen few. It is a skill that can be developed. The more you train your mind to imagine, to dream, to think without limits, the stronger your vision becomes. Vision requires courage, because seeing beyond the ordinary means believing in something before it exists. It means holding on to faith when others doubt, when critics mock, when the world tells you it cannot be done. But history has proven again and again that the world is moved forward not by those who accept the impossible, but by those who dare to reimagine it. Every skyscraper was once a sketch on paper. Every company was once just an idea in someone's mind. Every fortune was once a vision that refused to die. The difference between the ordinary thinker and the visionary is perspective. The ordinary thinker sees only the immediate reward, while the visionary sees the long horizon. The ordinary thinker is limited by what others believe, while the visionary believes in what others cannot yet see. The ordinary thinker adjusts their goals to fit the circumstances, while the visionary adjusts the circumstances to fit their goals. Vision beyond the ordinary transforms obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into stepping stones, and limitations into leverage. But vision alone is not enough. A vision without action is only a dream, and a dream without discipline fades into nothing. Vision must be coupled with relentless execution, but it is vision that lights the fire, vision that gives purpose, and vision that fuels discipline itself. When your vision is strong, every sacrifice has meaning, every struggle has value, every setback becomes part of the story. Vision gives you a reason to rise each morning, and to fight through each night. It sharpens your focus and strengthens your resolve. Training your mind to see beyond the ordinary requires stillness and reflection. You must step away from the noise of the world, the endless distractions, the constant pull of mediocrity. The ordinary world will tell you to think small, to play safe, to follow the path already carved. But vision demands that you see paths where none exist. It demands imagination, boldness, and the willingness to challenge convention. Wealth does not come to those who follow. It comes to those who lead with vision. Look around you. Every product you use, every service you depend on, every structure you admire was once considered impossible. Someone dared to see it before you did. Someone dared to believe it before anyone else could. That is the essence of vision beyond the ordinary.
It is the ability to see the invisible, to believe in the intangible, and to transform it into the undeniable. Vision also requires resilience, because the path from imagination to reality is filled with challenges. There will be moments when the vision feels too distant, too impossible. But those who achieve wealth are those who refuse to let go of the image in their mind. They refine it, adjust it, strengthen it, but they never abandon it. The vision becomes their compass, their anchor, their unshakable guide. With vision, setbacks do not destroy you, they instruct you. Failures do not end your journey, they sharpen your strategy. Vision is the light that cuts through the darkness, reminding you why you began in the first place. And as vision grows, it expands beyond yourself. The most powerful visions are not those that serve only the individual, but those that serve many. The wealthiest people in the world are not just rich in money, they are rich in the impact they create. Their visions touch lives, solve problems, and improve the world. That is why their wealth continues to grow, because vision rooted in service multiplies beyond measure. When you train your mind to see not only what you can gain, but what you can give, your wealth takes on a power that cannot be stopped. Vision beyond the ordinary is a discipline of imagination. It is the ability to train your thoughts to rise above fear, above doubt, above limitation. It is the courage to dream when others settle, the strength to persist when others quit, and the clarity to see abundance where others see scarcity. Wealth follows those who lead with vision, because vision creates value, and value is the true currency of lasting success. If you desire unlimited wealth, you must first cultivate unlimited vision. Train your mind to see opportunities that others overlook, to believe in possibilities that others dismiss, to hold on to the image of abundance even when reality tries to convince you otherwise. Let your vision be your weapon, your shield, and your guide, and when it is coupled with discipline, there is no force on earth that can stop you from achieving the wealth you seek. Consistency in daily habits is the quiet force that shapes destinies and builds fortunes. It is never the dramatic gesture, the single breakthrough, or the one-time success that creates lasting wealth. It is the accumulation of small, deliberate actions, repeated with discipline and patience, that transforms an ordinary life into one of extraordinary abundance. Consistency is the engine that powers vision, the structure that sustains discipline, and the rhythm that keeps you moving forward long after the initial excitement has faded. The truth is that anyone can work hard for a day, a week, or even a few months. But true wealth is not born from short bursts of energy. It comes from years of steady, unwavering commitment to habits that compound over time. Just as water carves stone not by force but by persistence, wealth is built not by grand moments but by the consistent practice of simple principles: saving, investing, learning, building, creating, refining. The power of consistency lies in its compounding effect. A small effort repeated daily grows into something far greater than the sum of its parts. Consider the person who chooses to invest a small amount every month without fail. At first the progress seems slow, almost invisible. Days pass, months pass, and the returns may look insignificant, but consistency works silently in the background, multiplying, compounding, and building momentum. Years later, what once appeared small has grown into a fortune. The same principle applies to skills, to knowledge, to opportunities. Consistency turns effort into mastery, and mastery into wealth. The danger lies in underestimating the power of habits because they seem so small. It feels easier to dismiss them, to say one missed day doesn't matter, one indulgence won't hurt, one distraction won't derail you. But the truth is, small choices repeated consistently, whether for good or ill, shape the course of your life. Just as consistent savings lead to wealth, consistent waste leads to poverty. Just as consistent learning leads to wisdom, consistent neglect leads to ignorance. Habits are the bricks from which your financial house is built, and every day you are laying them, whether you realize it or not. Consistency also requires patience, because results are rarely immediate. In the early stages, it feels like nothing is happening. You may rise early for months without seeing progress. You may study and work while others play, with little to show for it. But the mind trained in consistency understands that the reward is not in today's result, but in tomorrow's certainty. Each repetition, each act of discipline, is an investment in the future. Consistency is the proof that you believe in your vision, that you trust the process, and that you are willing to pay the price for wealth long before you reap the reward. There will always be the temptation to chase quick results, to abandon the steady path for shortcuts that promise faster rewards. But shortcuts rarely lead to lasting success. Wealth that comes quickly without consistency slips away just as quickly. Look at the stories of sudden fortune, lottery winners, overnight successes, inherited riches. Without the habits to sustain them, without the consistency to manage and grow them, that wealth vanishes. The foundation is too weak. True wealth is not just acquired, it is maintained, nurtured, and multiplied through consistency. Consistency also builds character. When you train yourself to show up daily, to honor your commitments, to maintain your standards regardless of circumstance, you become the kind of person wealth is drawn to. Opportunities come to those who can be trusted, who can be relied upon, who demonstrate through their actions that they will endure. Wealth does not follow chaos, it follows order. And consistency is the ultimate expression of order. The mind trained in consistency becomes immune to excuses. It no longer negotiates with laziness or distraction. It does what must be done, day after day, regardless of feeling or mood. This is not about perfection, it is about persistence. You will stumble, you will fail, you will fall short, but consistency means returning, again and again, until the habit becomes part of you. The wealthy mind does not depend on motivation, it depends on consistency. Motivation fades, but habits endure. There is a strength in knowing that small actions are never wasted. Every book read adds to your wisdom, every coin saved adds to your wealth, every skill practiced adds to your mastery. Even when progress feels invisible, consistency is at work, shaping your future. One day the results appear suddenly, and the world calls it success. But you will know it was not sudden, it was earned, day by day in the quiet, unseen hours of consistency. Consistency also creates momentum. At first the effort feels heavy, progress feels slow, and discipline feels like a burden. But as the habit strengthens, the effort becomes easier, the progress faster, and the results greater. The hardest part is the beginning, where consistency must be forced. But over time, what once required effort becomes natural, automatic, even effortless. That is the power of habits. They free the mind to focus on higher goals, because the foundation has been secured. Wealth is not just about money, it is about health, relationships, wisdom, and contribution. And in every area of life, consistency is the great multiplier. A consistent investment in health builds vitality. A consistent investment in relationships builds trust. A consistent investment in learning builds wisdom, and a consistent investment in creating value builds wealth. When all of these habits align, you become unstoppable, not because of sudden brilliance, but because of daily persistence. Those who rise to greatness are not always the most talented, the most intelligent, or the most fortunate. They are the most consistent. They keep going when others stop. They keep building when others quit. They keep believing when others lose faith. And in the end, it is not one extraordinary action that separates them. It is thousands of ordinary actions, repeated consistently, that create extraordinary results. To train your mind for unlimited wealth, you must master the art of consistency. Begin with small habits, guard them fiercely, protect them from excuses, from laziness, from distraction. Build them into your daily life until they no longer require effort, and then expand them, strengthen them, multiply them. With consistency, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Without it, even the grandest vision and the strongest discipline will crumble. Wealth is drawn to consistency because consistency proves strength, reliability, and endurance. It proves that you can be trusted with abundance, that you will not waste it, that you will nurture it. When your daily habits align with your vision, when your actions are repeated with discipline and persistence, wealth cannot help but be attracted to you. Consistency is the secret that turns dreams into reality, vision into fortune, and effort into empire. Courage to take calculated risks is one of the most decisive forces in building unlimited wealth. Fortune has never favored those who stay buried in comfort, hiding behind fear of failure or clinging to the illusion of safety. Every step toward greatness requires stepping into uncertainty, where the outcome is not guaranteed, but the possibility of reward is immense. Those who achieve wealth understand that risk is not something to be avoided, it is something to be studied, measured, embraced, and ultimately mastered. Wealth is not won by chance, it is won by those who prepare, who calculate, who trust in their abilities, and then take the leap when others hesitate. The difference between reckless risk and calculated risk is wisdom. Reckless risk is blind, driven by impulse, by greed, by desperation. It ends in ruin more often than not. Calculated risk, on the other hand, is grounded in preparation. It is the result of careful observation, deep knowledge, and disciplined judgment. It is knowing the terrain before you step onto it, sharpening your tools before you go to work, strengthening your mind before you face the storm. The wealthy mind does not gamble, it strategizes, and when the moment comes to act, it acts with full commitment, knowing that hesitation is more dangerous than failure. Courage and risk-taking is not the absence of fear, it is the ability to move forward in spite of fear. No person ever built a fortune without moments of doubt, without the cold grip of uncertainty, without the voice whispering, "What if you fail?" But courage means answering that question with another. What if I succeed? Every opportunity worth seizing carries the weight of risk. Every investment, every business, every innovation, every bold step into the unknown is a test of courage. And those who train their minds to accept this truth are the ones who unlock doors others will never even approach. Think of the countless people who saw opportunities but turned away because of fear. They told themselves the time was not right, the risk too great, the chance too small. And then think of the few who stepped forward, who dared to risk, who dared to act. The world remembers their names, their businesses, their fortunes, not because they were without fear, but because they had the courage to act, despite it. Fear will always whisper reasons to wait, but wealth belongs to those who move before conditions are perfect, because perfect conditions never come. Calculated risk also demands resilience, because not every leap will land where you expect. Some risks will fail, some ventures will collapse, some investments will disappoint, but failure is not the enemy of wealth, it is its teacher. Every failure strips away illusion, sharpens judgment,
and strengthens courage for the next attempt. The wealthy mind does not crumble under failure, it harvests it. It gathers lessons, refines strategy, and steps back into the fight with sharper focus and greater strength. Without risk, there is no growth. Without failure, there is no wisdom. Without courage, there is no wealth. The illusion of safety is one of the greatest traps of the ordinary mind. People cling to steady jobs, predictable routines, and modest comforts, believing they are secure. But in truth, there is no safety in stagnation. Inflation eats away at savings, industries shift, opportunities vanish, and time itself erodes the value of inaction. The only true security is growth, and growth demands risk. To refuse risk is to accept decline. To embrace risk is to open the door to abundance. Courage is not reckless defiance. It is the recognition that danger lies both in action and in inaction, and the wisdom to choose the path that leads to greater reward. Calculated risk requires preparation. A soldier does not march into battle without training, without reconnaissance, without strategy. Likewise, the builder of wealth does not take risks blindly. They study the market, they analyze trends, they seek counsel, they weigh potential outcomes. Then, when the moment comes, they commit fully, knowing that hesitation is a greater danger than failure. Courage without calculation is recklessness. Calculation without courage is paralysis. But together, they form the power that creates wealth. Every great fortune has its foundation in a moment of courage. The entrepreneur who launches a business against all odds. The investor who puts capital into a vision no one else believes in. The creator who risks reputation to build something new. These moments of decision, where courage and calculation converge, are the turning points of destiny. Wealth is not attracted to those who wait for certainty. It is attracted to those who step forward when others retreat. Risk also separates the leader from the follower. The follower seeks safety in numbers, waiting for others to prove the way. The leader creates the way, carving paths through uncertainty. And with that leadership comes both the possibility of failure and the possibility of extraordinary wealth. Those who dare to lead with courage become the ones others follow, and it is the leader who reaps the greatest reward. Courage and risk-taking is not only about money, it is about expanding your capacity, testing your limits, and proving to yourself what you are capable of. Each risk taken strengthens the mind, enlarges your vision, and deepens your resilience. Wealth is not just the number in your account, it is the strength of character you build along the way. Every courageous decision adds to that wealth, and in time it manifests in both character and fortune. The world belongs to those who dare. It always has. The oceans were crossed by those who risked storms. The frontiers were settled by those who risked hardship. The technologies that shape our lives were born from those who risked failure. And the fortunes that stand today were built by those who risked everything when others held back. To train your mind for unlimited wealth, you must train it to embrace risk not as an enemy but as a companion. You must learn to respect it, to measure it, and then to step into it with courage. Fear will always exist, but courage transforms fear into fuel. Calculation provides the map, but courage provides the step. Together they open the gates of wealth. If you can master the art of calculated risk, if you can prepare wisely, act boldly, and endure failure without breaking, then you possess one of the greatest keys to unlimited wealth. For in the end, it is not the cautious, the timid, or the hesitant who build empires. It is the courageous, the bold, and the daring, those who are willing to risk for a greater reward and who through that risk attract the wealth others only dream of. Resilience in setbacks is the true measure of wealth. It is easy to talk about success when the path is smooth, when the wind is at your back, and when every decision seems to bring reward. But wealth is never built on comfort alone. It is tested in the storms, in the failures, in the nights of doubt when nothing seems to work, and the future feels uncertain. The difference between those who rise to unlimited wealth and those who fade into obscurity is not who faces setbacks, but who endures them. Every fortune ever created carries behind it a story of loss, disappointment, and failure. What separates the wealthy from the defeated is resilience, the ability to stand when everything around you has fallen, to continue moving when every voice tells you to quit, and to find strength in the very moments when others surrender. Resilience is not a passive quality. It is not simply waiting for hardship to pass. It is an active, deliberate decision to confront setbacks with determination, and to use them as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. When a plan collapses, the resilient mind does not sit idle. It adapts, it revises, it grows stronger. Wealthy minds see setbacks not as the end of the journey, but as critical parts of it. Every failure reveals a flaw, every mistake uncovers a lesson, every disappointment refines the vision. Resilience means you gather those lessons, carry them forward, and continue building. No one escapes failure. The entrepreneur loses investments, the investor makes wrong calls, the dreamer sees their vision crumble again and again. But resilience ensures that failure is never final.
Those who lack resilience are broken by these moments. They lose belief, they lose discipline, they abandon the path. But those with resilience find a way to rise, no matter how many times they fall. That is why resilience is more powerful than talent, more important than resources, and more decisive than opportunity. Wealth does not belong to the one who never fails, it belongs to the one who never quits. Resilience also reshapes your relationship with failure. Instead of fearing it, you begin to embrace it as an ally. Failure stops being something to avoid and becomes something to learn from. Every failed attempt strengthens the foundation for the next one. Just as muscles grow only after being torn and tested, the mind grows stronger after each setback. Resilience transforms pain into progress, disappointment into direction, and obstacles into opportunities. Wealth is not built on the illusion of perfection. It is built on the resilience that turns imperfection into mastery. There is a quiet strength in resilience. It does not always roar. Often it is the silent decision to keep going one more day, to rise one more time, to try one more attempt. That daily choice accumulates into a force more powerful than any single victory. Resilience is persistence over time, the refusal to let failure define you. It is the recognition that setbacks are not the opposite of success, but part of it. Every wealthy individual carries scars from their journey, and those scars are proof of resilience. They are reminders that they survived the storm, that they endured the trial, and that they emerged stronger because of it. Resilience also builds credibility. People trust those who endure. Investors, partners, and opportunities are drawn to those who can weather hardship without crumbling. When others see that you can survive difficulty, that you can adapt under pressure, and that you remain committed when things go wrong, they recognize a strength that wealth respects. Weakness repels wealth, resilience attracts it. The marketplace, like life, will always test you. Only resilience proves you worthy of lasting abundance. The greatest challenge in setbacks is the temptation to stop. Pain, disappointment, and fear whisper that the effort is no longer worth it, that the dream is out of reach, that the fight should end. But resilience answers back with action, not words. It keeps moving forward even when the heart is heavy, even when the outcome is uncertain, even when exhaustion threatens to overwhelm. That relentless forward motion, however small, ensures that no setback can truly defeat you. Wealth comes to those who simply refuse to give up, who remain on the path long enough for the tide to turn in their favor. Setbacks also forge humility. They strip away arrogance, they reveal weaknesses, and they remind you that no one is invincible. This humility is vital because it grounds your pursuit of wealth in reality. It forces you to improve, to grow, and to recognize that the journey is larger than yourself. Resilience allows you to absorb humility without losing confidence, to acknowledge failure without surrendering belief. This balance creates the kind of wisdom that sustains wealth through changing seasons. Resilience is not about denying hardship. It is about facing it head on and choosing to rise above it. Some battles will wound you, some losses will cut deep, some failures will seem unbearable. But resilience transforms suffering into strength. It reminds you that you are more than any single failure, more than any temporary defeat. It keeps your eyes on the long horizon, where wealth and victory await those who endure. Every great story of wealth contains chapters of despair. Businesses that nearly collapsed, investments that failed, dreams that seemed shattered. Yet in those stories, resilience is always the turning point. It is the moment when someone decides to rise once more, to fight again, to refuse defeat. That decision, repeated again and again, builds not just wealth but character, not just fortune but legacy. Resilience is the reason some people leave behind empires while others leave behind excuses. To train your mind for unlimited wealth, you must cultivate resilience until it becomes unshakable. Expect setbacks, welcome them, and use them. Let every failure teach you. Let every disappointment refine you. Let every obstacle strengthen you. Do not fear falling, fear quitting. For as long as you rise, as long as you endure, as long as you continue, wealth will eventually yield to your persistence. Resilience ensures that nothing can stop you. Not failure, not fear, not defeat. Wealth belongs to those who rise every time they fall, who endure every storm, and who understand that setbacks are not the end, but the very path to abundance. Surrounding yourself with strength is one of the most decisive choices in the pursuit of unlimited wealth. No one achieves greatness alone. Behind every success story is a network of people, mentors, allies, partners, and companions who provide guidance, accountability, encouragement, and at times the hard truth that forces growth. The strength of your circle will either accelerate your rise or weigh you down. If you surround yourself with mediocrity, you will inherit mediocrity. If you surround yourself with strength, you will inherit strength. Wealth is not just the result of individual discipline and vision, but also the product of the environment in which those qualities are cultivated. The mind is shaped by the voices it hears and the examples it sees. Spend enough time with the weak-minded, and their fears will seep into your thoughts. Spend enough time with the careless, and their habits will poison your discipline. But surround yourself with strong thinkers, resilient doers, and courageous leaders, and you will be pulled upward by their very presence. Strength attracts strength. Being in the company of those who demand more of themselves will naturally force you to demand more of yourself. This is why wealth so often grows in communities, where strong minds gather, challenge one another, and raise the standard together. The people closest to you influence how you see opportunity, how you handle setbacks, and how you measure success. They either expand your vision or confine it. They either ignite your courage or feed your fear. They either strengthen your consistency or weaken it with distraction. It is not enough to train your mind in isolation. You must also guard your environment. Surrounding yourself with strength means being intentional about who has access to your
energy and attention. Choose those who embody the qualities you want to master. Those who live with discipline, vision, consistency, courage, and resilience. Their example will sharpen your own. Strength does not mean perfection. A strong circle is not made of flawless individuals, but of people who refuse to remain broken by their flaws. They fall, but they rise. They fail, but they learn. They face hardship, but they endure. This kind of strength is contagious. Being in the presence of those who fight through challenges will inspire you to fight through your own. And when your own resolve falters, their example will hold you steady. The journey to wealth is long, and even the strongest mind will face moments of weakness. Surrounding yourself with strength ensures you are never alone in those moments. Strength also provides accountability. Alone, it is easy to excuse laziness, to lower standards, to accept mediocrity. But when you walk among the strong, excuses are exposed. You are forced to rise to the level of your company. The wealthy understand this truth. They build networks of strong allies who hold them to their word, who push them when they grow complacent, who remind them of their vision when distractions threaten to pull them away. Accountability is not comfortable, but it is essential. It prevents drift, it sharpens focus, and it ensures that the habits of strength are never abandoned. There is also power in shared knowledge. No single mind can see everything, know everything, or anticipate everything. But within a circle of strength, perspectives multiply, wisdom expands, and blind spots are revealed. Wealth grows faster when guided by collective intelligence. Surrounding yourself with strong minds means surrounding yourself with better ideas, sharper strategies, and deeper insights. It means learning from the failures of others, so you need not repeat them, and from their victories so you can replicate them. Alone, your vision is limited. Together with strength, your vision expands beyond what you could imagine. Surrounding yourself with strength also means cutting ties with weakness. This is perhaps the most difficult part. There will be people in your life who drain your energy, who feed your doubts, who sabotage your progress, sometimes intentionally, sometimes out of their own fear. To pursue unlimited wealth, you must be willing to separate from those who cannot or will not walk the path of strength. This does not mean arrogance or cruelty. It means recognizing that your time and energy are your most precious resources, and they must not be wasted in environments that stunt your growth. Protecting your circle is protecting your future. Surrounding yourself with strength means seeking mentors, those who have already walked the path and carry wisdom you have yet to earn. A mentor's presence can shorten your learning curve, protect you from costly mistakes, and instill the mindset required for wealth. It also means seeking peers, those who are fighting the same battles and striving for the same goals.